Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cozy Corner podcast. We hope you've had a great week so far. And when this comes out, it'll be Wednesday. So happy hump day. We're halfway through the week. We've got this.
Welcome back to the podcast. And as you can see from the title, today we're going to be talking about careers. And we're excited for you to get to know our special guest today.
Yes, our special guest is my older sister, Mercedes. And with our topic being dream career, is there such a thing? My sister has a really good nonlinear story of what careers look like and what things she's dabbled into. And we're here to hear her experiences. But first, I would like her to introduce herself so we can get to know a little bit about her now.
Hi,
Hey.
guys. I'm so excited to be
Hello,
here.
welcome, Mercedes.
Yay, welcome, sis.
Well, I'm so excited to be here. Hi, I'm Mercedes Villarreal, and I'm Gabby's older sister.
Yes. And what are you what is your current day to day? Who are you? What are you right now? Big questions we ask here on the Cozy
Well,
Corner.
first I just want to start off by saying how impressed I am with the Cozy Corner podcast and Darlene and my sister Gabriella. Just so impressed as an older sister, seeing my two little sisters, I guess you could say, going on this venture, and it's just fun. And they have this Instagram, and I'm just so impressed with the way they set this up and the conversations that they have. I think that it's just nice to have that, and I'm just really impressed by the way they're going about it. So as an older sister, I'm really impressed. And I think it kind of relates to our topic of today because it's about your career and just like your passions. So even though I'm here to talk about my career and my passions and where I've gone in my life, I think this is literally the perfect example of life taking a random course and just doing something random. And I think that Darlene and Gabby are a perfect example of, yes, some people have passions and they're doing this, that, and the other, but sticking to something is living proof of if you just stick to it. You have to have a schedule. They have, their outline. They've got their meetings that they set things up. They plan for this, in the back end, behind the scenes. They do plan for this sort of thing. And you have to be professional about it, and you have to be serious. And I think that's so cool that they have that connection where they're, don't take themselves too seriously, but hey, we're going to do this. And they're committed to each other. And I think that they're committed to this. And I think I'm just so inspired by that strength and that bond. And because it's very hard when you're, this relates to our topic too, but when you're in the world and you have people that may come and go, you have tons of people that have great ideas. Hey, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. But it takes so much to stick to it. And I'm just very impressed by you all.
Thank you so much. Wow. I did not know you'd get all that Mercedes compliment on the opening question. Very, very nice of you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So yes, welcome, Mercedes. I just want to say, I don't think you know how much I look up to you. Ever since I first met you, you were like the older sister that I never had. And even though we haven't hung out, probably more than 10 years, since Gabby and I were back in high school, the feelings are the same. I'm always looking up to you, and I'm just so happy to have you here. Thanks for joining us. So what we like to do with our guests, we have a fun question. So that question is, Mercedes, where are you and what are you doing when you are most cozy?
What am I doing when I'm most cozy?
What are you doing and where are you?
And where am I? I'm definitely at home. And my warm, oh my God, I can picture it. It's just so nice. So I'm at my home. I'm in very comfy clothes. I actually have a specific outfit that I am most comfortable in. I just bought it from Aerie. I haven't never shopped at Aerie in my entire life, but I was at the mall and I actually went to the mall. Me and my friend Angie went to the mall, and I'm obsessed with the color slate blue, dusty blue, kind of like
Also,
a
bridesmaid colors of your wedding.
my bridesmaid. It's also it's a very popular color right now. Like I probably am being marketed
I
at.
literally always think of you with that color.
It's very popular color, which is fine. It's like a light blue, kind of like a baby blue. Anyways, I'm at the mall and I go, and we're just walking in, go into Aerie. And I was like, sure, let's just go in. And there's this blue shorts and kind of like a sweater set matching, just solid color blue with like a white tie for the shorts. And I was like, I love this. I have to have it. So I get the shorts, but they don't have my size in the sweater. So I'm like, you know what? I go to the desk. I'm like, do you have this size in the back? Like, I really want this. They said, no, but we can order it online. And I was like, she's like, it's free shipping. We'll order it. You can pay for it right here and I'll ship to your house in a couple days. And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Done.
I was like, done. And I was just very impulsive, but I also thought it was a great buy and I just did it. Anyway, so that is my favorite outfit to wear because it's just like a pullover sweater with comfy shorts. And I'm wearing that with probably some sort of like tea or coffee or just something sweet with like some biscuits or like cookies, just like a little platter of, I love high tea or any sort of like bagels or just like little sweets, like macaroons. Okay, let's just solid macaroons. That's what it's going to be.
Love.
Macaroons with tea in that outfit at my home watching The Nanny with Fran Drescher.
Love. That is so Mercedes. If y'all know Mercedes, or if you don't know my sister that are listening, like that is the most honest opinion I could possibly have gotten from her because yeah, that is, I love when she has like her high tea moments, even me as a guest. Darlene, I can't wait for both of us to come over there and visit her. That'd be so fun. And yeah, she loves the high tea moments, the hors d'oeuvres. And yes,
I'm excited.
Thank you for that answer. That was so nice.
Like little snacks. Oh my God.
I want to buy that outfit.
I'll send you the link.
I actually have a pair of really, y'all, I think both have seen me in them probably. They're my yoga split down the side of the leg.
Yes,
pants. Those are Aerie. And you know what?
Really?
Yep, those are Aerie.
Oh my God, Gabby, those are so cute.
I know. And I tried actually looking for them again because these are getting a little kind of faded and they don't have them. But I'm like, you know what? They might come back because Aerie's where it's at. Like
it's
I
American
love how,
Eagle, right?
Yeah. I love how they've like expanded. Cause you know, when I first, someone told me about Aerie, how they're really good with like, you know, curved clothing. I was like, I don't know if they'll have my size, but they really did. They have like a really nice selection of sizes. So I felt included, which, you know, as a shopper, I love to try new brands and brands that are like, you know, body positive, which is great. So that's super awesome. Let's all get matching slate blue pajamas.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm literally on the website right now. So
Mercedes scroll the website. Look. Oh my God.
Send me the link.
I literally like
so funny. Well, as you scroll, I'm going to be talking about our main topic. So today, dream career. Is there such a thing? I think we hear a lot about how work shouldn't feel like work or do what you love and getting paid is a plus, blah, 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 blah. But I also know that there is such a heavy weight on what career we should choose.
Yeah, we were asked since we were little, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, it's in our brains since we were kids that we need to figure out what we're going to do when we get older. And I think us as millennials, we've been told that we can do whatever we want. And that's great, but I also think that brings a lot of pressure.
For sure. And everybody's story is different in how we get to our so-called dream career or passion living. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about just, I don't know exactly how much this weighs on the topic, but to me, this is immediately what I thought of to kind of find a solution for just like a better mental health around how you feel in your career. Because due to our last year, the middle of the pandemic of 2020, the labor market shed 20.5 million jobs for the obvious reason. And now we're well into 2021. A lot of people are choosing to live a well-rounded mental life because of the pandemic. I think so many people realized, wow, how much, I've heard so many times people say, wow, I didn't know how much I needed to just like rest my mind or like separate myself from people that, maybe I didn't know like were toxic in my life, blah, 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 environments. And they're leaving their careers. I feel like there are so many jobs in America and too many jobs with little resources and space for mental health. One of my good friends, Jacob, he has told me kind of just like this. I've never worked in a corporate or professional 9-to-5 job, but he's told me about the European way of thinking and how jobs are slowly incorporating that, corporations, including wellness into their job role. So, having like work retreats or having, like check-ins, like mental health check-ins, like I can't even imagine how that would feel like. That must feel so good to like have your boss know that they're like checking in on you. Like, what do you need? Do you need a day rest or whatever? My other friend, Emily Hale, I think she has this too at IKEA. She's up in Philly, and, IKEA being a overseas corporation, they have like, I'm pretty sure a wellness kind of part of their job. So I think people would find peace if they were offered that. So that's just like, obviously I know we're talking about our journeys and like life, but on like a more logistical way of like solution oriented things, I just think about how this is important. And because someone's dream job can be hindered by a bad workspace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think also I noticed a lot of companies also offer like wellness, going to the gym, those type of benefits for their employees, which on top, not just mental health, but also, well, that goes along with mental health.
Physical, yeah.
Yeah, taking care of yourself. So that's really good. And I think that's what's important, that's what a lot of people search for, is a work-life balance. Right?
Yeah.
Going back to how I mentioned that when we're young, we're 18, we graduate from high school, and there we're supposed to decide what we're supposed to do for the rest of our lives. Are we going to go to college? Are we going to start working? Are we going to take a year off? I think that's so interesting though, because it's scientifically proven that our brains are not even fully developed until we're 25 years old. So how can an 18-year-old decide what am I supposed to do? And I think that's why a lot of people feel a little lost. And how we were talking about a couple episodes back with the quarter life crisis, that just goes right into that. So I just want to say that those of you that are listening, if you're feeling like you failed because you're getting to your 30s or maybe even your mid 20s, trying to figure out your life, I think that it's okay that you haven't found that career path that you're looking for. And don't worry, because many of us are in that same boat. And as we've mentioned before, you are where you're meant to be in that moment. So just keep going and don't feel so stressed about it.
Going into that, we are going to hear about my sister's nonlinear story, which I talked about in her introduction, and Mercedes. We want to know about your journey and to normalize change in one's story. So please start from you. You can even kind of highlight what you majored in, what your dreams were at that age via now.
Okay. All right. Where do I begin? After high school, I went out of state for college and loved it. I was in communications, media production. I wanted to do the whole Hollywood thing. And I was really interested in journalism and all the outlets of media in general. And so I went to my cap on my graduation cap on the top, it said Hollywood, with like the sunset and the big Hollywood letters. And so that's what I did. I booked a one-way ticket to LAX and I went out, and I went there originally for some internships during the summer, right after college. There was a program with my college that I did that. From the connections that I met there during my internships, they said, hey, we're doing a film. Do you want to come out? And I was like, okay, went back out. And I just didn't, that was my one-way ticket. Right. And worked on set in LA, and that was amazing. I think, how old was I? I graduated in
I think when you graduate, you're usually like
22.
Mhm.
22.
Yeah, I was 22, and I went out and lived with two of my really good friends from college at the time, and we got really close, and we were all there doing random things, working random jobs at production studios and sets, and it was definitely a learning experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I was definitely reliant on other people as far as like networking, and I didn't know the right steps. I didn't know the protocol for emails or texting people. I don't think I thought about it. I think I just did it. I don't think I was worried about like offending anybody or like, like I was just like, can I do this? Like it wasn't, I had no hesitation really. I was like, I'm going to be here. I'll do that. I just seemed very eager. So when I was out there, I was just very eager to do anything and be on set. And I think that that was in a time in my life where I wasn't really very offended by anything. And, I was like, I don't care. I'm an assistant in wardrobe steaming things. Like I was just happy to be there. I think I was just excited to be in the Hollywood life and
the hustle and bustle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I hated driving there because I had an internship later at Creative Artist Agency, which is a talent agency for celebrities and well-known writers and sports people too, but mostly actors and musicians. And I hated driving there. Oh my God, the traffic was awful. And so I feel like I do have a little inside to like when like Hollywood people talk about like LA and like the traffic. So I'm like, I know that. Like it was.
I was there.
Like I was there on the 105 or the 101 or whatever they call it. It's some big highway.
Mhm.
But
and then you also had to get a job at BC. Yeah, you had to get a job at the mall because of the
Yeah,
realities.
yeah. So I was like this, I am not getting paid a lot in my internship, which was nice, but I worked at the mall. It was nice. I met those kind of people too, people that were from LA, not in the industry, working retail. I just soaked up everything. I mean, I have so many memories of just the little things that I was doing and what led me to what. And I think all those interactions that I had led me to like shape my personality of who I want to be, what I don't want to be. I tried many times during that time in California, I remember many times being like, okay, soak this in, like just this is happening, and I think that's advice that I got when I was that age. And I think that I would definitely give is just to sit and just soak it in, I think enjoy the moment, and it doesn't have to be, meditative or anything. It's just standing wherever you are at and just being like, oh my God, listen to what you hear and feel. What does it feel like to stand on this floor and just be here so that you can jump back into that moment at any time. So after I did the whole California thing, my family and my boyfriend, now husband, kind of would talk to me and say, hey, how are you doing out there? Like, how's it going? Like, is this really, how are you feeling? I had a really good support group saying, do you want to be out there? Do you want to do this? Should you come back home? And maybe we should get more of a professional career in the communication industry that's making more money. We really want you to be successful. So I got a lot of feedback from that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it is tough out here. I do like this. I'm glad that I did it. So one thing led to the next, and I moved back home to Texas, and I lived with my mom. It was me and her. It was fabulous. We were little roommates. And I made the decision to move back home and leave my two friends that were there. And I think it was really hard to kind of separate because they were continuing on. So it was really a weird transition. I think that I felt like I was giving up, but at the same time, I was like, I'm making the right choice. Like, I'm doing this for me, and you guys can stay and do this, but I can't do it anymore. I was like, I can't. And I think that I got overwhelmed. And it kind of was that, but then I was excited to be home and starting something new. I think it kind of got stagnant in LA. And then I was like, okay, this is not going to be, because of the advice of my family and the support system I had at the time. They were very, forward thinking.
So in Texas, what did you
So in
find yourself
Texas,
doing?
my nana sent me an article. She was very persistent that I find a job, and she was very helpful. And she sent me an article from the newspaper. I think she mailed it to me. It was like an article, like a printed out newspaper article from the San Antonio Express News, had a job fair, and the San Antonio Express News was going to be there. I think it was I think it was a San Antonio job fair.
Right.
All the companies in the area, and a big job fair. You go around to booths, and I was like, sure. Like, I went. And then one of the booths was one of the companies that I ended up working for. There was, I don't know, random companies, but there's only one booth that said journalism, marketing, advertising, sales, and communications. That was the only one that I was like, okay, I can do that. That's the one I want. So I go there, and I told them, I said, I just got back from Los Angeles. Like, I want to be in the communications industry. And she was like, instantly, she was like, yeah, come, here's my information. Like, we'll set up an interview. Anyways, so when I got the job at the San Antonio Express News from that job fair, it was amazing that I did that for a year. And that showed me a whole different side of how my career and my life could take me, doing sales and advertising. I had a headset. I was working on the phone, doing advertising, and I actually got to sell ads and make commission off of it. And it was really great. I also got to meet some people in person in San Antonio, kind of like a business professional woman, in my business attire, going out and meeting people. And I practiced there. I was able to practice my in-person skills of, persuading somebody, selling an idea and saying, you should do this, more business kind of thing, but it was sales. I'm selling a ad in the newspaper. I worked in recruitment and say, hey, you can place an ad in the paper and online, and we will target an audience to you so that we can cater to your needs. It was kind of like a recruitment thing.
And at this point in time, did you ever look back and be like, wow, like just a year ago, I was like on a film set, like that whole life was like completely different. You had to get up early, you had an hour commute. Like, were you happy? Could you see yourself in the peak of your career at the San Antonio Express News? Could you see yourself doing it forever? Or were you still kind of like, this is cool, but like, this might take me somewhere else in life?
I was thinking I hated it.
No, yeah, be honest. Like, honestly,
I was
like,
okay. I didn't hate the people or anything. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. And it was more of like a joke. I didn't take myself seriously. I think I was just like, I don't want to be doing this, but I, at the same time, loved it because I loved the people. I thought it was so interesting, the commission and selling. There were peaks. Obviously, I think this leads to more of like a general topic. I don't think anybody loves work. Like, I don't think there's very few people that are very passionate about their jobs and are like, this is amazing. Depends on what you're doing. But for here, I was thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be here. I want to be closer to my boyfriend at the time. He was in Florida. I was in Texas. I just being at home with my mom, the perception.
Right.
That
And
kind of, yeah, I think that makes a perfect example, like kind of what we're talking about here, like a dream job. Is there even a dream job? Is there even a dream career? So that's perfect example.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Like, you did it, like, because you're obviously the kind of person like with the work ethic, like, yeah, I'm going to go to work and show up and do the best I can. But yeah, you were definitely like, wow, I have that life balance was kind of missing with Eric being in Florida. We love mom, but like, you're in your 20s, you don't really want to move back home. So what made you, get to Florida? We obviously all know you're there now. So what was that like journey like to get there?
so then I wanted to move on with my career. I didn't want to work at the Express News forever, but my husband now, Eric, had been in Florida working for Disney as an internship. So he had already made some connections down there. And as I would visit him in Florida, I got to meet a few people, and they helped me get down here and say, hey, this position's open. You should apply for this. I looked on the Disney website and there was a job, again, not knowing. And like, I was in sales for Express News. And then there was I didn't know that was going to be, I needed the Express News and that sales experience to lead me to working for Disney Vacation
Mhm.
Club, doing sales. Why did life give me the Express News? To get me to Disney. That's what they did. That was my transition in to working for the Walt Disney Company. And after that, I didn't work in sales very long. Going there, I worked in the hotels. And then where did I, at Walt Disney World, I worked in the hotels. Where did working in the hotels and sales lead me to? Working in the hotels as a event assistant. So,
and it's rumored that Disney has a really good reputation, or what is it? Reputation with helping in, what is that called? Like when you work at one job, they're really good at like rehiring you for another job inside the company. You want to talk a little bit about that for people that are interested in, I don't know, the Walt Disney Company?
Yeah. I loved working for the Disney Company. But yes, they are very supportive of you transitioning and working for different segments of the company. I worked in the vacation club, and then I worked in the resort operations. So very different. There's a sales and services side, and then there's a operations side. So I went into more of the operations side of the company, but they're very supportive. And then I went and did my job for 5 years as an event operations assistant for the resort, and it was amazing. Loved it. It was by far my favorite job that I've had in my career. And then
you should definitely say, before what I know you're about to say, is I'm really proud of you. And I know a lot of people will be impressed with, you got the Disney Legacy Award the last year you were with Disney Company, which I think is a really big honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, yes, I was with the company for 5 full years. And in the last year, was it? Yeah. And during the last year, I transitioned to an administrative role, strict administrative role, like strictly administration versus the event side. And I was assisting one of the department heads as their secretary. So in that last year, I was loved it. I loved that transition. I wanted to eventually be an executive assistant, which I was an executive secretary, trying to go down that path. And then COVID happened. But during that time, I hope I loved my job so much. That was one thing where I was like, wow, this is the dream job. And I was at that point. And during that time, obviously it showed, because I was awarded this recognition at work, and I was really blown away. And I thought that was really special. It was really nice. I think that's kind of cool that I kind of left my footprint, and the hard work that I did paid off. And
I think it's
it was
symbolic.
fun. Yeah, it was kind of like a symbolic thing. And I was just really, I wish I could have done more, I just wish
But pandemic, yeah. What?
Yeah, so I was on this journey with the company, and then my position was no longer necessary, and they had to lay my position off, as well as 35,000 cast members with the company.
Wow.
Because of the pandemic. And they are calling people back now, but I assume my position was from 6 people down to 1. So like 6 people that did, there were 6 of us at the resort. And then it now has been running on 1 person doing the job of 6.
Wow.
So that's just
Right.
in one segment. That's in one part that they're doing that type of thing for a lot of other positions. When they used to have 20 managers on site, now they only have 5 to 10. They don't have. So, but yeah, so that's my journey, going from high school, being, if you've listened to the podcast, Darlene and Gabby kind of talk about how we used to make music videos, and going from being a music video director and like doing dance and stuff in high school in our early stages, then making that transition to communications in college and more of that professional journalism role, to moving it into like a broader mass communication thing in the real world of the media and the outlets, and then transitioning that into trying to find a career of sales and advertising. What does that mean? And then advertising leading me to sales at Disney Vacation Club. Then from that leading to me to resort operations, and from resort operations and guest service leading me now to my cosmetology career, which is after I got let go from the company, I decided to mix my guest service experience and my artistic side to blend with cosmetology. So that's what I'm doing now at Paul Mitchell School. And I'm really excited to blend those two sides of me and take this new career.
Me being your sister, like the way you just made that sound was like two peas in a pod, but like, let's get real. Like, let's be honest. Like, you obviously had months of furlough and then getting laid off. So the whole topic is dream careers or such a thing. So you just said at that Disney company job, you were like, wow, this is my dream career. And like, you got that. And so many other people have gotten their dream career or that lifestyle taken away from them. So we want to know, like, so it's just so our listeners can kind of maybe feel they're not alone. Like, obviously cosmetology wasn't that second thing on your check mark of a dream board, I'm assuming. So like, what was that journey like? I know it wasn't simple.
No, I think that is just a perfect example of life and how quickly it could change with the drop of a hat, and you're boom. It hit me like a truck. Like that when everything was happening, it was a slow transition, kind of like you see in the movies, right? It was like, oh, we're wearing masks. And it was like, oh, and you're just gonna, like, when I left the company, or when I left my last day, when we were going to work from home, like, hey, pandemic's happening, you got to go home. I remember packing my desk, and my boss, the general manager, I was an executive secretary at the time. She walked me to the door very politely, because we were the last ones to be leaving these buildings, right? And I just like, well, what do I need? She was like, just grab things that you need to work from home. It's going to be for a little bit, maybe I'm assuming a couple weeks, and we'll see what's happening. Nobody knew, right? And I remember leaving the resort and walking out and being like, okay, like, it was dead. It was no guests at Walt Disney World. No. And that's very rare.
Yeah.
0 people at the hotel. We were completely shut down, and leaving that and just not knowing whenever I would ever come back. And that's the last time that I was at work. And it was just not a usual send off that you get. And so I think that time working from home for like a month, maybe a couple weeks, and then saying, hey, don't sign into your computer. We're on furlough. So during the time when I was on furlough, it was an interesting transition because I'm at home. I think we all can kind of relate to that, where you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's going on. You're not seeing your family. I was doing, my husband and I just bought a house at the time. So I was doing a lot of house projects like many people were. And it was, but at the time I thought I was going back to work. So I had hopes of going back, but it was kind of like being hit by a train, like very slowly. That's how I would describe it, being on furlough. It's because like I knew it was coming. It's like I had that intuition that I was going to let go. I was like, there's no way. Like, things are getting worse and worse. Crazy things are happening in the world. And it's like you have this feeling and it won't end. It's like, I just want hit me with the train, what's happening, what's going on. Like, you want to be positive. And I was very like, but then when I finally got it, that's what it felt. I think that's how I would summarize my time being furlough, was just poodling around, waiting for answers, and feeling pressured to like pick up a hobby, feeling pressured to make use of my time. But I think a lot of people like myself were enjoying the time just to be. Some people weren't, but I was just enjoying the time to be relaxed, not working, taking a break. I really took it as like a vacation and time to like sit back and reflect. But then months later, getting a phone call saying, I'm sorry, but you are no longer with the Walt Disney Company. Then really shortly, I made the decision to figure out what I was going to do next. And at the time, I wanted to be wild and crazy and dye my hair. So I went to my salon and said, I want to get my hair done blonde. I want balayage. I want like an ombre type look. And as I was there, I don't know, just it happened. I was talking to my stylist and I really liked the salon. I loved the owner. I met her and was just really impressed with their guest service. And I said, hey, I could do guest service in a different avenue. This is my work in travel and leisure in the hospitality industry, and spas and services and salons is similar to that. Why don't I work in a salon? So that's kind of where my operations and my, learning how to create happiness for people at Walt Disney transferred to how do I create happiness for people with their personal appearance? I think that beauty to me is how you treat yourself and how you treat others. So that's why I decided to go into the beauty industry and cosmetology so that I can create happiness for others. That's the ultimate goal. Make people feel good about themselves, treat yourself well, treat others well, and beauty of life will come to you.
So, yeah, you've chosen cosmetology. And I love that meaning of, well, what did you say again? The beauty of,
Beauty is a lifestyle.
yeah.
And it's achieved when you treat others and yourself well.
Right. So, kind of, I know we've talked intimately, obviously, as sisters, about how we want to feel about our life and the work we do and how we participate in the community. So, we don't obviously have all day to talk so in depth about each of us and our career choices. But just to kind of finish off with your nonlinear story of how you've gotten to where you are, what active choices have you made for yourself to be like, this is why I'm choosing this lifestyle, rather than why aren't you working another secretary job? Someone might ask if you loved that so much at Disney, but I'm assuming it's more of that company and the people you had. And so you kind of view it as like, you know what I mean? Like the new Mercedes, the new chapter of your life. What do you see and like want to manifest?
I think I'm in a position in my life where I want to create a lifestyle that I'm happy with, what I'm comfortable with. And I think that that's what I'm trying to manifest. Where am I comfortable? Not just where I'm working or what I'm doing, but how can I treat myself well? And my husband and I were actually talking about this, but I think there's a balance of living life and being carefree, but also not taking it for granted. So you have to, don't text and drive, be safe. You're not invincible, right? So there's a balance of not taking things for granted and also just being off the cuff and just living life. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And just treating myself well, treating others well. And I think that's a lifestyle that is simple enough. That's it.
And doing cosmetology school, you're obviously enjoying it. I visited you a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, if you're happy going somewhere, having to participate in community, you're doing that, you're happy with it. That is all. I think that's a good place to leave our audience, like find something that makes you happy and live the rest of your life in happiness from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think it's important to mention, because Mercedes mentioned that she, with the experience that she's gained in her career, she was able to find, another route using those same skills that she learned. And I love that, like putting together your career skills that you've gained and also the things that you're passionate about is super important. So it's really cool how you brought those skills into deciding what your new career step was. So
Yeah.
that's really inspiring. I think that you're leaving me especially, and also our listeners as well. So
Yeah.
thank you, Mercedes.
I know. Thank you so much. I know we asked a big question of you because, yeah, it seems, almost 10 years of your life has looked so diverse. And I think what a life to have had, to have shared with other people and to grow from. And this is what we're all about, the journey of life.
Yes,
The
yes.
journey. I know. Me and Darlene always talk about the word journey.
I
Yes.
heard you guys talking about that. And the journey is not over.
Never. No. Yes, exactly.
And after cosmetology, I have no idea what, like, I
take
have
you.
no idea. You're just never
Mhm.
going to know what's coming next. So
Yeah, I think it's also important because you're in this point in your life where you thought you wanted to be in Hollywood. Like starting your career, you thought you wanted to be in LA,
crazy.
doing the Hollywood life, but you're not there yet. You're happy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the important thing, that we don't know where we're going to be next year, in 5 years, in 10 years. We just know that we have to trust our gut, follow our hearts, and
Mhm.
realize that wherever we're going to go is where we're meant to be. So I love it.
1000%. And I'm just so happy that you guys got to meet Mercedes on our Instagram. We will have her page. She posts a lot of cool styles and her friends that have styled her, because obviously she is still in her term of school, which you graduate in September, right?
Yeah, late September, early October.
Awesome. So you'll be
Woohoo.
31 because your birthday's in September. She's a Virgo, y'all. And awesome. Well, Darlene, do you want to end us with our intention of the week?
Yes, of course. As you all know, we all leave you guys with an intention. And for this week, we want to begin first off by saying that we want you to know that you don't need to put too much pressure on yourself in figuring out your life. Take it one step at a time.
We want you guys to write down every dream possible or anything you want to accomplish.
And next to the dream, we want you to write down one thing that you can do to make a step towards that dream.
Exactly. It's just one step at a time. Well, guys, that concludes our podcast for today. Check out our channel for past episodes and don't forget to subscribe for our future ones.
You can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even watch us on YouTube.
Yes, we'd love if you leave us a review so we know what you're thinking, or you can catch us on our Instagram at the.cozycornerpod or send us an email at thecozycornerpod@gmail.com.
Thank y'all for listening. We're wishing you a wonderful week and catch you next time on The Cozy Corner. God bless.
God bless. Take care. And adios, amigos.
amigos.
Thank you so much, Mercedes.
Adios, amigos.